Platinum trophies have become a very big part of why I'm such a massive PlayStation fan, and there are certain platinum trophies that I find elevate a game to another level. Now, there are definitely platinum trophies that take away from that initial experience and make you almost dislike the game because of their specific trophy lists and their trophies. I have a very good example because I have a glitch trophy in Guardians of the Galaxy, which has cost me 3 playthroughs and still no platinum. Maybe one day I'll go back to it and I will sort that out. But today, in our brand new set, I hope you guys like this. Hopefully you guys can tell me if it's cool or not, and maybe we'll grow it a bit more in coming weeks. And we'll still use the other set. I'm just happy to be using something different for once. I digress though. So, platinum trophies that have really taken my experience of games to the next level is the topic of this Top 5 Tuesday. There are some platinum trophies that really take a gaming experience, specifically in certain titles, to another level. And I want to talk today about certain games that have taken my experience of a game from, okay, maybe these games were already great, but they took it to another level where I really re-enjoyed the title in a way that I didn't know was possible, because these trophies help you and guide you to experiencing more fully what the developers intended the game to be. So starting off with number 5, these aren't really in any particular order, but the first one that I have is God of War 2018. Now, God of War 2018 is already a fantastic game. If you just go through the main story and maybe you do 1 or 2 side quests, you're already experiencing a fantastic game. However, when I replayed this game or played it to its completion just before God of War Ragnarok, I realized I had missed so much of this game. Just for instance, I hadn't played any of the Valkyries, defeated any of the Valkyries. I hadn't done the Mustafal trials. I hadn't done the Niflheim, I suppose you could call it like a roguelike section where everything resets and changes. I hadn't done any of that because I just didn't, it passed me by. However, when I was looking into what the Platinum Trophy entailed, I obviously saw all these things and I managed to do them for the Platinum Trophy, which then in essence took my experience of the game to a whole new level. So games like this really are the target of this video, where you can see that these games highlight the more specific intentions that the developers had, because sometimes you just miss these things and you don't actually engage with the entire game, and then maybe you're missing out on something that has been really well crafted by a very dedicated team of developers. So in God of War, obviously there was just so much that you could do, and having the Valkyries to do and all these different trials, it really is a fantastic thing. And if it wasn't for the Platinum Trophy, I would never have seen these things because it wouldn't have interested me. But I'm so glad that I did it for the Platinum Trophy, because it took my experience of God of War from what is already a fantastic game to a whole new level, and a whole new level of respect for Santa Monica Studios for developing such a fantastic title. Now, a little bit different for the next one. This game is something that I experienced at launch. However, it took me a couple of years to really fully appreciate the title. The prequel, or the initial title for this series, is one of my all-time favorites. It's top 3 games of all time for me. However, the sequel I just never really got to grips with until I replayed the entire game. Now, you don't have to replay the entire game to get the platinum for this title. However, when I did replay this game and I experienced everything, this is when I started to get a full appreciation for what the developers were trying to achieve. And that game is The Last of Us Part 2. Now, The Last of Us Part 2 is such a controversial game, and I don't want to touch on any of those topics, but what I do want to say is, if you are struggling to maybe find the love for this game, go for the platinum, because maybe you will find that in those hidden moments where you might not have expected The Last of Us Part 2 to shine, that is where I started to fall in love with the game. So, for example, the gameplay is a massive reason why The Last of Us Part 2 is such a fantastic game. Even aside from a super emotional and story-driven title, the gameplay really stands out, and that's why we got the no return mode in The Last of Us Remastered, because a lot of fans really just wanted to re-experience this gameplay over and over again in ways that weren't tied to structured encounters like you have in the main game. Because even in the main game's structured encounters, they are fantastic, and some of them are mind-boggling, and the ways you can escape is truly fantastic. However, that can get repetitive if you're doing that over and over again. So having something like No Return added in The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered really highlighted how fantastic the combat was. Now, obviously in The Last of Us Part 2, there's a little bit of collectathon, if you want to call it that. There's a few things that you have to collect throughout the story, so following a guide might be the best way to do it. However, I don't recommend doing that in your first playthrough. If you do your first playthrough and you fall in love with the game and you aren't having any trouble with how the narrative played out, maybe put off the platinum for a while or do it slowly. With me, I didn't particularly relate to the story the initial playthrough, so then when I replayed it and I was focusing on the platinum, following a trophy guide, that's when I really started to appreciate how the developers really developed a fantastic title that is worth a lot of critical acclaim. I don't know if it was worth Game of the Year 2020 when Ghost of Tsushima was also released that year, but that is a story for someone else to debate, someone with a lot more knowledge. I do really appreciate how great The Last of Us Part 2 is, and that is only thanks to me completing the Platinum Trophy for this title. Now, another game that, while it is something I recommend for someone who maybe doesn't have a lot of time, and that will be slightly confusing in a couple seconds when I tell you that the Platinum actually takes 80 hours to 100 hours to complete. However, what is so fantastic about this game is it's a roguelite game where each run takes about 20 to 30 minutes, and if you're the type of gamer that comes home after a long day and you only have those 20 to 30 minutes to play, having a roguelite where you can just do 1 or 2 runs really is the best way to experience your games. Because I remember being in my honors year, I didn't have time to do anything. I didn't have time to see friends. I didn't have time to sit down and play a full story game. However, with this game, and this game is Hades, I really enjoyed the opportunity to just sit down for 20 minutes, do a run. If I didn't get very far, I could restart and do another run, and then put down the controller and get back to my studies. That's just the unfortunate circumstances of being a student who is trying to pass. Varsity is tough. Don't get it wrong. Varsity is tough, but you guys can do it if you are in it. But having something where you can just relax for a couple minutes between your studies is really something that is fantastic, and the story in this game is phenomenal. But what really makes this game so much better with the Platinum specifically is the Platinum allows you to experience all the other story beats that you might have not realized are there. Because once you do your first full complete run, you might think, oh, I've done this game, it's taken me 20 hours, maybe this is the full game done. No. There are still about 60 hours of content and 60 hours of dialogue that you haven't experienced just yet. And following the Platinum Guide really helps you to experience all of that. But I don't want to spoil too much about Hades because I think everyone really should play it. And I cannot wait for Hades 2 to come out on consoles whenever it does. I'm so jealous of PC gamers at the moment. Let's move on to the next title. And the next title is Horizon Forbidden West. Now, Horizon Forbidden West is a different type of beast, because Horizon Forbidden West, you don't actually need to go get 100% for everything in the game to get the Platinum, which isn't a bad thing. Horizon Forbidden West has a lot of content in it. However, the trophy list, if you follow it, guides you towards all those different things. So for example, you don't actually have to complete all the audio files and all the collectibles and stuff. There are certain sets of collectibles that you do have to finish in order to get the Platinum Trophy. However, not all of them are like that. But what it does is show you all these different things that you can do within Horizon Forbidden West, and they give you trophies for that. And then on your way to getting the Platinum, you have this experience of experiencing all the different areas and all the different things that Horizon Forbidden West has given and provided you to do. So for example, you have to do all the tall necks and stuff. Those you have to do, but there's not that many of them. But these tall necks obviously open up the map for you. I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't done Horizon Forbidden West, but if you haven't, what are you doing? Please go play Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered and Horizon Forbidden West, because these two titles are fantastic and they have such awesome platinum journeys, both of them, because they help you experience the most of this game and it doesn't overstay its welcome. There are certain open world titles that when you do them, they actually overstay their welcome and they make you do almost too much, and then it becomes a 200-hour grind and you don't actually enjoy your time with it. Horizon Forbidden West and Zero Dawn are luckily not like that. They show you everything that you can do, but they don't require you to do absolutely 100%. They do require you to do about 70 to 80%. However, that last 20% can really be tedious if you don't want to do all 100% of the game. But the 70 to 80% that is required for the Platinum really helps you experience a fantastic open world that I think everyone should experience. I cannot write home how much of a fan I am of Horizon and the Horizon series. I mean, I even have the Lego Horizon Tall Neck, and I have Lego Horizon Adventures, and I'm definitely going to be getting the new Lego Horizon Adventures set when it comes out. So I'm a massive fan of Horizon. The only Horizon I haven't played is Horizon Call of the Mountain because I don't have a VR, and yeah, maybe one day. Anyways, the last game that I want to talk about is a game that by all accounts you have to platinum if you get it. This isn't a game that I recommend just playing through. I think this game you have to get the platinum for, because if you get the platinum for this game, obviously you just have such a wonderful experience. This is a game that I smiled from ear to ear with, and that is Astrobot, the 2024 Game of the Year. Astrobot is such a phenomenal title because it just, I can't even explain to you how great this game is. There is nothing that I would rather do than going through a speed run on Astrobot, even when it frustrates me. If you have seen some of my recent shorts, you know that the new Vicious Void is really beating me, and it's like destroying me, and all my confidence is gone because that is tough. And this is supposed to be a child-friendly platformer. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it can be really challenging. Those shape levels in the main game, whew, I took a few hours. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. There are some things that really challenge me in those games, but getting the platinum for this game, really, it's such a joyous experience that you can't not get the platinum for Astrobot, and Astro's Playroom for that matter. Astro's Playroom is also another fantastic platinum, and they are not overly difficult. Yes, the speedrun challenges are a little bit more difficult, but you don't need to do those for the platinum. But if you want your trophy percentage to be 100%, you better get good, and get good quickly, because there's still more speedrun that are coming for Astrobot. So those are the 5 platinum trophies that I think have helped improve the games that they are a part of. And let me know what games you have played and the platinum trophy that you have attained that has actually made you more appreciative towards the game. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll hope that you'll join me on Friday and maybe another day this week for something special. I don't want to spoil and I don't want to jinx it, maybe it doesn't come out, but definitely on Friday join me again for what will be another fantastic Friday feature. I hope to see you there. Cheers and enjoy the rest of your week.